No worries. I think you can change her name on there if you know how to do that. But either way. All right, guys, I am so excited. So many of you are popping on. A lot of you are brand new or you're just starting and trying to figure out where to go, just like a brand new job. You don't know all the ins and outs, but you're willing to learn. You're ready. You're excited, but you could be skeptical. You could be worried. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story and kind of really quickly how I went from super skepticism to slowly starting sharing and just getting the word out, because we have something incredible that every single person should take. So for years, I bashed Plexus for a long time. Didn't even like the name, didn't even like to say Plexus in general to anybody. Like, I thought the P word was all that was going to come out of my mouth, just saying, complete honesty. Then a friend invited me to an event, and that's what events do. They pump people up and they get to see the company and everything. And by the way, my name's Cassie Howard. I don't know if I said that. But and yes, cameras on. We'd love to see your faces. I don't care if you're in your robe or whatever. I would love to see your face. So I went to Super Saturday because I wanted a girls' weekend away. I could care less about all the Plexus people. I didn't want any of that fluff. But I went and everybody was dressed in head to toe Plexus. It's like, that's not me, Jan. That's not going to be me. I'm just letting you know. And then I walked away completely different. So know that you might have said no to Plexus for a long time, like I did. And here you are. We all say no to something. And so know that when you're possibly reaching out to people or you're chatting with people, they might be in your shoe where you were several years ago and saying, no, not right now, but their minds could possibly change. So you just have to keep that in the front of your mind, that you just have to keep loving on those people. Is the best way that I tell my people, is that you never know. That person might take like 4 or 5 years to finally say yes, and then they'll be like gangster all over it. So that is where I'm at. And the biggest thing that stood out to me when I first started, and honestly just hit me not that long ago, is I don't know if you're a recovering people pleaser like I am, but I never wanted anybody upset. I always wanted to make everybody happy and everything. And you guys, it's draining. And one thing that Jessica Heffley told me, and it will always stick with me, is that when you are so worried about what other people are going to think of you, or if you're going to send the wrong message or what XYZ, you're creating that as an idol. You are wrapping your whole day and whole mind and every moment's wasted time and creating that as an idol. And that stood out to me the most, because I never want anything above God and my family and all of that. And I was creating what other people thought of me as an idol first. So remember that as you're sharing and getting things going, always know, like, Jesus never pleased anybody either. So you just keep sharing, being passionate about what we have to offer, because we truly have incredible products. Let's get those cameras on, my friends. Exactly. We do not bite. I can't bite you from this camera. Don't worry. I promise, like I said, nobody cares what you look like. It's fine. I'm in my sweats and my shirt. It's fine. But I love seeing you guys' faces, especially so many new ones on here. And I cannot wait to dive into with you guys tonight as we start sharing and you guys start sharing your incredible journey and where you're at. Megan, who are we starting off with?
Oh, my friend Laura is a volunteer and she's on. So she and I have been working closely for the past 8 days. On a whim, I actually reached out to me about just connecting with my mom. And I was like, oh, hey, and by the way, I'm having a health event at my house for the Momentum meetup. And she came. And funny story, we have like quite the history, because I remember when their family was super sick from mold. I was a teenager and she had a baby that was like air flighted because of her heart issues. And then we had a mold issue about 10 years later. They helped us and let us come and use their sauna. And anyway, she's a wealth of information. She has a lot of experience. She went back to school. She has 7 kids. Do you have 7? You have 7, I think. And she's homeschooled. She's been a labor and delivery nurse and lots of different, well, not just that, but lots of different types of nursing in a hospital setting. And now she is a holistic practitioner doing her own thing. And Plexus fits right in, which is so cool. She is almost senior silver in 8 days. So she's been sharing with a lot of people. She had an epic online event the other night. we've just been following the system, which is she, has made some posts. She's popped some stuff in her stories. She has gone live, and she's done an online event. And so we're starting to get some online events scheduled for some of her new people as well, to just help them go Fast Start Silver. So she has some one or two people getting ready to go Fast Start Silver. So the goal is adding 17 this month by the end of November, so that she will go Fast Start Gold this month and cash in on those Christmas cash bonuses, which will be cool. So Laura, what did I forget?
The funny thing is don't ever give up on your people, even if they try the products and then drop out, and it can be years in between, because this is technically the third time I've used Texas products. But I was a chicken before. I wouldn't really share it too much. And I think also working the system really helps. But it was really a fear thing for me. I was a people pleaser as well. I think now that I'm 50, I don't really care. I think something happens when you get older. You're just like, you know what? If they like me, they like me. If they don't, they don't. I know I'm helping people. I know I've got a good heart. I know I've got a mission to accomplish for the Lord. And if people like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. Eventually they'll join up, or just God's going to bless me anyway. So it doesn't really matter what they think. It matters what he thinks. So.
Amen. Okay. So I'm curious, and I bet everybody's wanting to know, is that what is your system you feel like that is working right now? Because I feel like everybody sometimes does different things. And so what I wrote down is you did an event. So you did a vendor event. You're just posting and sending and sharing with friends and family.
Yeah. So actually Megan just said, hey, do you have a couple friends that you want to talk to? And do you want to go ahead and put together an online event? So we quickly threw together an online 15-minute blitz. That's what my event was. It wasn't in person. So we just did that. And then that wellness group is still posted. And so as people, get back to their messages, because Megan has it written out, like, here's something you say to them. You don't just invite them, you actually have a dialogue with them and get permission. And so then as I did that, some people didn't look at their messages until after the event was over a couple of days. And I'm like, it's okay. So the nice thing is that you can go ahead and go look, and then just ask me if you have any questions. And then I try to follow up with them. I really am just listening to whatever Megan tells me to do. I do it, because I figure if she's successful, I don't need to reinvent the wheel. I just need to do what she says. So.
Exactly. And I think that's another thing is just following the simple systems of you're really reaching out, in the fact that, like, okay, I'm just going to read Cindy on here. You're like, hey, Cindy, tell me a little bit about your health goals. You're bantering, you're going back and forth before you even talk about products. Slow and steady wins the race. And that's exactly like this. And so it sounds like you're doing a lot of that too. Is that correct? Like having those conversations, seeing where they're at.
Yeah. So honestly, I just kind of listen to who the Lord puts on my heart, and I message those people, or I'll watch for a post where somebody says, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't get to come to church today. I had a migraine. So then I'm like, I see it. So then I'm like, hey, I am praying for you. Just want you to know, I am here if you want to talk. But I also, as you know, I'm in doing a lot with wellness, and maybe there's something I can offer to help. Do you want to tell me more about what's going on? Or, little things like that, showing you care and being very genuine in what you do makes all the difference.
Yeah, that authenticity for sure, of like just chatting and saying, hey, are you open for recommendations? Would you mind me sending kind of what's helped me or helped XYZ, things like that nature. So that is a lot of people this month. So you're hoping to go Fast Start Gold, correct?
Yeah. Actually, I want to have 17 personal sponsors. That's my goal. And then, I'm going to make my goals big. And then, if all in line at 17 altogether, I'm good with that too. So
that's incredible. Have you thought of how many of those you want to help reach one? So like the one thing that I love is add one, reach one. And so that's another great key. Have you thought about that?
I hadn't thought about it that way. I know that what we had talked about, just making sure to try to offer to help them get 3 so that theirs is free, because they're more likely to stay with you. So I've just been kind of talking to them in that way. Hey, do you know have 3 friends that we could talk to and maybe get going with you. And, then you get your product for free, which is a bonus, and you're helping other people. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't done
No, you're good. I think that's the one thing that's nice is as you're getting started, the simplest, the easiest is what's going to be duplicatable. And it sounds like Megan is doing great on that. So something simple, easy, duplicatable. So another like add one, reach one. And like, so when you add, let's say, I'm just going to say Kylie, when you add Kylie, like, Kylie, I'm so excited for you. The one thing that's great about this is accountability. Who do you know that you would love to do this alongside of? So that way they're adding one and you're adding one and they're reaching to one, and that will get to your 17. I know you want personal 17, but you'll know as you start growing and getting bigger is the fact that you can't do it all alone. So if you're already in that system of adding one and reaching one, it'll be a lot simpler because then they'll duplicate that. Like, oh, Kylie will have somebody, hey, Kylie, you just signed Susie. Does Susie know anybody? And then it kind of just trickles that way.
That's great.
What do you feel like might be, do you feel like you have any hiccups or anything like that as you're starting right now, or what's going on?
Yeah. So for me, time management has always been kind of stressful because I have ADHD. So, going through nursing school, everything I do, I own my own wellness company or business here in town. I actually have an office where I see people, and I am all over the place. And so the more information I get in, I'm like, oh, here's a group and here's a group and here's a group and here's a group. I'm finding myself kind of needing a little more structure.
I want everybody raise your hand if you feel like you need more structure in your life. So it's not just ADHD. I can tell you that much. I know that I get squirrely sometimes too. And I feel like sometimes we all feel like we have to have this perfect schedule, but I feel like as long as you have a guideline of, what that looks like, then great. What I try to do is have a good to-do list of what I really need to get done that day. Like, here's my top stuff. And then here's the stuff that can fall. And so I try to get those things done. But I also want to back up. And I think Megan said you had 7 children.
Yeah, they're all grown.
Okay. Still
33 down to 20. And then I have 5 grandkids and another one on the way.
Oh my goodness. Congrats.
Hey.
But look at all the things that you're already accomplishing with 7 children, grandkids, all of that, as well as your own business. So I want people to see the big picture in that of the fact that you already have things on, because most people don't want to reach out to people. And I'll be honest, well, like you already have a business, you're already doing things, you feel busy already. So why would you want to add on something else? So now I want to tap into, why did you feel like you could add on this? Like, what enticed you to this that made you want to create that time block for it?
Because we all have 24 hours in a day, and my wellness business, I see clients and I get paid for the clients I see that day, but I don't have any residual. And I'm 50 years old. And now that I broke away from Western medicine and I'm no longer working to get a 401k or anything else, I have to think, okay, how do I build a long-term income? So I knew that was not going to happen the way I'm running my life right now. And so I just had to get a vision for that. And Megan honestly really inspired me. So just watching her over time, because back when she came to our house and we were helping with the mold, their whole income was going into trying to remediate their mold in their house. They did not have a lot of extra, and they had 4 little kids, and they were also paying for all of Megan's health issues. So I watched her go from
what it means
just
not just crypto, but for politics, donations to Democrats.
Okay, there we go. Go ahead.
From just enough money and fighting sickness and everything else to becoming whole and well and happy, and all these posts and more babies and then being so successful. And then I walk into her beautiful home and seeing how God has blessed her ability to help others and then bless them back with a place to, host and to show people God's love, and just to, it's inspiring. So, cause I watched the journey. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think that's the thing is, as somebody new, when people start sharing and they're like, oh my gosh, nobody's commenting or nobody's liking my stuff, nobody's doing anything. I mean, did you always comment on her posts and things, or were you just watching?
No, she didn't even know I was watching, I don't think. So I was on Facebook. I was off Facebook. like I said, I had done Plexus years ago, and she actually came to me before she started Plexus and said, hey, I know you did Plexus at one point before. What were your thoughts? And I told her all good things about it, but I wasn't even taking it anymore. I wasn't even doing it. And so here I'm watching, I'm like, really, if I would have just stuck to it, would my health be? If I would have stuck to it, where would my finances be? But I also know that I learned a lot of lessons in those wilderness years that I didn't have to go through the wilderness, but I did go through the wilderness, and now I can use that experience to help others. But it makes me a stronger person. So
Well, and God has a timing for us no matter what. And so this was obviously your timing, because you're pretty much senior. I think you said senior silver or hitting senior silver and then going fast start gold this month. So this was your timing. Your timing might not have been there to be in that mindset. But I think it's a great reminder. And Carissa had even said it too. It's such a great reminder to always talk business, always talk about the products, always talk about your story and what they're doing for you, because you're going to hit different people. So for like somebody like Laura, she saw a bigger picture because Megan was posting her, things in her life, like her house, those things that Plexus was able to provide for her. So thinking of those aspects of what this could potentially do. And you don't have to, if you don't have a story, none of us have a story when we start normally, share somebody else's story. Like Laura now can share Megan's, like, I've watched Megan for this, and this has inspired me, to see her create her home, to be able to XYZ, and just know because that was the one thing when I first started, was I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm posting and nobody's doing anything. Nobody's commenting or messaging me. Like, why am I doing this still? And I realized there are people watching. I mean, think of any ads that you see on Facebook or on the drive, wherever you're at, you never buy right away. You usually have a friend recommend it. And you're like, oh yeah, I did see an ad for that. Or, oh, I did see that on Facebook or whatever. Tell me more about it. And so it takes I can't remember the exposures. It's more than 8 times. And so know that people are watching, because here's proof right here, and it is years later. So know that your person might take several years. I mean, my girl Julia, I don't know if she's on here. She is. I bugged her for 6 years, and she finally just decided. So just know you are inspiring people. They are watching, and I am so proud of you, Laura, for finally diving in. But now is your time, and now you're going to go gold this month, and we're going to cheer you on the whole way. And all of us are, but I think everybody needs to realize how simple we can make a complicated thing. Like, we're making this complicated when all she's doing, like you said, you created an event, you're just reaching out and checking. So if I'm going to give an example for people really quick, and then we're going to move on to the next one. But if you're reaching out to me, what would be the conversation that you would start with me? Like, just a not a cold reach out, me. How would that look like?
I'd be like, hey, I just saw your post with your puppy today. Oh my gosh, he's so cute. How old is he? And then with whatever you said, like, oh my goodness, how's the rest of the family doing? And I don't know if you saw, I have a lot of really cool stuff going on in my life too right now. It's been so busy. I'm about to have another grandchild, but I also started my own wellness company, and I partnered with a company called Plexus. I don't know if you've heard of them, but wow, it's just blowing up. So many people that need help with their health, and I'm able to bless them. And it's been so amazing. And then I wait for a response.
Mm-hmm. I think most people, I love that. I feel like most people forget to banter. Like, it's just you don't want to give everybody the menu of well, guess what? We have probiotics and vitamins and collagen and da, 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 da. Like, do you want any? And I feel like sometimes we give too much when it's just simple, right? Like, you're just like, I saw you have a cute dog. Oh my gosh, what's the dog's name? Which I actually just posted about my dog yesterday, so that's kind of funny. But same thing. It just starts conversation, you guys. I feel like sometimes we forget to take the people out of we take the people out of the conversation when it's still the person. Like, you're talking about the person. Like, how are you, friend? I saw your dog. Oh my gosh, how was that? And then you slowly get into that conversation and wait for a response. I feel like who's been to a Mexican restaurant and you get overwhelmed and you're like, just where's the fajitas or where's the tacos? Because that's the one thing that's familiar, right? And so that's me. And so when you're trying to give people unfamiliar things, like, oh, here's a pink drink, and I actually just did a video. Hang on. Here's your collagen greens and Joyome. Guess what? This can help with everything. Hang on. Let me help you with more. they're going to be overwhelmed. They're going to be like, wait, what? Laura, I'm sorry. Peace out. I'm done. So just you guys, when you're reaching out, really just love on them, see where they're at, where their journey is, and it's going to be fine. And you're going to go gold this month. We're going to be shouting it from the rooftops because you're doing the right things. Simple, simple.
Thank you.
Proud of you, Laura.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. All right, Megan, I'm going to have you take over. You are going to be coaching my new friend, Brian.
Hey, Brian, how are you? Oh, you'll have to unmute. Let me see.
Yeah. Hey, sorry.
There we go. I wish Justin was on tonight. Yeah.
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, good. I wish that Justin was on tonight. He usually co-coaches with me. This would have been perfect, but he has the kids. They all went to, well, the big boys are shooting baskets and the rest of the gang went to go get some cat and dog food, I think. So he just took them all out of here for a little bit. So, all right. Tell me a little bit about your Plexus story so far.
Okay, so it started, I think it was about little over a month ago. I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, and my wife had been thinking about Plexus for a while. She actually tried it for a little bit, and then when I got my diagnosis, she was kind of like, well, we just need to get you on this and get your gut healthy and everything. And so kind of finances being what they are, she quit taking it so that I could start taking it. And so now we're kind of trying to see where we're at from the business side of it. Kind of a slow start for me. The whole network marketing thing for her is not really, she's very overwhelmed with things that she has going on right now, so she doesn't want to try it. I told her I'd give it a shot, and so yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Okay.
Well, you're at the right place to help with all the gut health things. And that I have seen so many people have so many wins with the whole inflammatory gut stuff. So yay. How many weeks are you in, or how far are you into the products?
Trying to remember. I'm probably closing in on 2 months, so maybe slightly more than that. I can't remember exactly when my diagnosis was. I remember I started them that week. I want to say it was in October.
Okay.
Towards the beginning or middle of October is when I started. So
okay. And are you starting to notice some changes yet, or not quite with your health?
Yeah, I have noticed quite a bit of changes. Well, I, for one, drastically changed my diet after the diagnosis, so there's that, and then started taking the products pretty quick after that, and I started feeling better really fast. My pain went away within the first week, and I got to where I was almost normal, and then things kind of started going backwards again. Colitis is it's a really difficult disease, and so actually 2 weeks ago I decided to go ahead and get on the oral medication that they prescribed for me, just to kind of hopefully get myself on the fast track of getting into remission. And I'm still taking the Plexus as well on top of that. So
okay, got it. So gut healing can definitely take some time. And so I had worked with the naturopath for about 2 years. I was super toxic from mold exposure, and it wreaked havoc on my gut. And so I worked with that lady for 2 years, and in that time drastically changed an already healthy diet, but got super duper strict and eliminating all inflammatory foods, like none. and got on her health protocol. And so when I transitioned over to Plexus, I just really appreciated that it was gut health combined with blood sugar regulation. But even then, it took between 4 and 6 months for me to really finish out the rest of the gut healing. So it can definitely take time. Candida overgrowth can wreak havoc. So that does cycle in like 90-day increments. And so yeah, just stay super duper consistent with what you're doing. And the fact that you've already seen some wins is a big thumbs up for sure. Something that you may consider adding to your protocol would be a supplement called L-glutamine. I can type it in the chat for you, but if you haven't ever tried that, that's very healing to the intestinal lining. And sometimes when people come to me with a lot of inflammatory bowel issues, just like crisis time, I will recommend that they use that. You can get it on Amazon or natural health store. So anyways, reminder to mute everybody. Oops, I muted it. Sorry, Brian. Hang on. This is there we go. Oops. Wrong person. You can unmute. There we go. Okay, so tell me about sharing with people. So have you started to share, like post on social media and maybe with some friends that you know?
I have posted on social media. I've reached out to some of my family and some people from work about it. Haven't really gained a whole lot of interest. So, I mean, I don't know if it has anything to do with it, but most of the people in my circle are men. And knowing myself and a lot of other, especially like my family, I have all brothers. We're really hard to convince to buy something that we're not convinced that we actually need. And so, like, the only reason why we ever bought it is because my wife convinced me that she wanted to start taking it. And I was like, okay, you can go ahead and do it. But I had also seen a lot of, I've known other people that have done Plexus before, and I've seen a lot of info on it before we started. So I knew that it was a good product to begin with, so that helped. But a lot of people have never heard of it, and they're just kind of like, whatever. There's so many other health products. I don't know how many like health shakes we sell the past few years, and it's just there's so many different things, and so it's really seems like it's hard to get, especially men and the people in my circle, to be like, oh yeah, sure, I'll try it.
Do you drink the pink drink at work?
I do every day.
Love it. So my husband was a road construction supervisor, and he was in the Army for 12 years. And so he's very much what was in a circle with primarily men, and men typically tend to be a little skeptical. And so, like, obviously when you said yes to Plexus, you had how many touch points of knowing that the products were good, or knowing that, you know, various people had used the products with good results. And so you had that belief built probably over time with, you know, different people planting seeds with you. And so you may be hitting, you know, your warm market, so to speak, your personal circle and connections, family and friends, and they may be hearing about it for the very first time.
Right.
From you. So I wouldn't get too wigged out with them not saying yes right away. And sometimes the people closest to us are the last ones to say yes. Just from our experience, it's been really interesting who has said yes, who has said no, and who still says no, or at least doesn't express interest at this point. But when the timing is right, I think that's what's so interesting, is that when the timing is right for people, then you're ready to tell them what it's done for you, you know, and what it's doing for you. So I usually will recommend that people, you know, make posts. So sounds like you have made some Facebook posts.
Yeah, I have. I could probably be a little bit more consistent. I've been trying to make about at least one post a week about Plexus. But I don't really post on social media that much anyways. And so it's just hard for me to even think about it sometimes. But
well, My husband doesn't put out as much content as me on social media, but he does do it. And it is interesting how, guys share in a different way than girls, and that's totally fine. But I think my husband's really good in person. And so you may find that you are able to have more conversations in person, and like your Plexus Facebook post might be more of like little sparks that just remind people like, oh yeah, Brian's doing that gut health thing. Huh. Oh yeah.
Mhm.
And it kind of reminds them, where maybe the in-person, them seeing you drink your pink drink, or when people, work with you or whatever, end up asking you questions about it, you may have more of an in-person rapport with people.
Yeah, I can definitely see that for sure. It, I just think that we connect a little bit better in person. I think part of my problem is my wife tells me all the time, I'm too blunt. I don't carry conversations well. I'm very introverted, so if I'm gonna go talk to somebody, I'm gonna tell them what I came to tell them. And like you guys were talking earlier about starting conversations, seeing how the kids are doing, all that kind of stuff. I can do that, but it's not gonna last very long. I'm gonna be like, hey, so I've got started doing X, wanted to know if you wanted to try it, type of thing. So I mean, maybe I can work on that a little bit, but I'm very to the point, and
Yeah.
so
Well, my thing is, even though your wife said that, my thought is, why is that a problem? Because I would say my
Right.
husband is super blunt in person and online. And if he posts or texts or whatever, super short and to the point. He's not chit-chatting with people. Hey, how you doing? How's the cats? How's the dogs? He's like, hey dude, this cleared up my irregularity problem. It's, taken away my joint pain. I've lost 20 pounds. You want to try it. So I think that it doesn't have to look one way, and you can be you and talk about the products or talk about the business in the way that is authentic to you.
Right.
So I would definitely go follow Justin if you haven't yet. Justin, Kyle Rainey, even Angie was talking about her hubby took the products just to prove her wrong. And he's now a lifer. So, but if you have a couple of guys that Kenny Hutala, I think that's how you say his last name. There's some men in Plexus that post and share. I was going to actually reference 2 videos. Justin just did a video. I think Kyle Spone organized it on Sunday night. They did like a veterans Plexus call, and it was all men talking about why preventative health is important. So I can make sure you get that link, but that might be a great third-party tool to plug these people into that you've messaged about Plexus, but then say, hey, I thought of you when I listened to this men's call and wanted to just get your feedback on it if you have a minute to listen to it, or listen to it on your way to work or something. But that one, and then Justin he was on a call that Thomas Hemingway did. I don't know if you know who Thomas Hemingway is, but he's a diamond in Plexus. He's also a medical doctor, and he has a podcast, and it's just really great at educating people about health. And he did a call with Justin and another guy named Monty War, and they just chatted men's health. And so there was a doctor perspective, and then, Justin's perspective and Monty's perspective. And so just cool to hear men talking about health. And, it's a different vibe than, a girl's chit chat session about Plexus. But I think those might be useful tools for you to listen into, to build your own belief, and also to plug, guys that you're chatting with into the scoop.
Yeah.
If anyone has the link handy, can you pop it in the chat here? Someone can go snag at least the men's one that Thomas did. I think it was at the end of September. Okay, tell me a little bit more about your vision. Is your vision to just get your products covered and that's what you're good with? Or are you thinking bigger, like we'd love to be pulling in, $1,000 a month or $5,000 or $10,000 a month with Plexus? What's your What's your initial thought on that?
Initially, I would really like to just get the products covered, but I'm willing to take it as far as God leads me to take it. I'm not opposed to operating my own business through Plexus or anything like that.
Mhm.
So I just, I don't know.
Awesome. Well, that's the cool thing is when we started, our first goal was like, let's get the products covered. Like that's step number one, you know? And so you guys referring 3 times this month, even if you and your wife kind of tag team on it, you mentioned that you're, pretty short, blunt, to the point, pretty introverted. And I think the cool thing is you don't have to be a certain personality type. You don't have to be extroverted or overly charismatic or whatever. Like people in your circle track with you and who you are. And so you can share authentically from that place, And and when Justin and I started, we still do, but tag team. Like he has different strengths than me, and he's honestly better in person, I think, than me, and had built his business with a lot of in-person meetups. I have done mainly online, mostly out of convenience because of just being home with kids all the time. But I think that's a cool thing is like you guys can tag team, pool your resources, so to speak, like your strengths, and just widen the net, so to speak, in terms of like your wife may be chatting with some people you wouldn't necessarily chat with, and vice versa. And that's been a blessing to us. And the fact that Plexus is unique in the sense that they allow husband and wife accounts to be growing at the same time. So that's something to maybe think about down the road. In the beginning, it can feel, in the beginning, it can end up biting you in the butt if it's not done strategically. But at least if, both of you are working towards, hey, let's just get the products covered so that it's not a burden to us. And also we can do the same thing with anybody that joins, is they can get their products covered, and just like this win-win thing where we go just power of 3, all through, everyone helps 3, they help 3, they help 3, 7 levels deep and as wide as you can go. And
Yeah.
that's how you rank up. That's how you rank advance and build a team, which is super cool. Oops, I don't know why there's feedback. Hang on. Anyone that's popping on, make sure you mute. I think that's why. Alrighty. Do you have any particular like fears or things that you're like, oh my word, things in the back of your brain that you're thinking about, feeling like paralyzing or just causing questions to pop up?
Not really any that I can think of off the top of my head. Like, I guess the biggest one, if anything, would be like if somebody started taking it and then decided that it didn't work. Like, I wouldn't want to be the person that's like, oh yeah, this stuff is so great, and then for whatever reason they don't think that it's working for them, and then it, but I mean, I don't really have any fears. My biggest thing is just consistency and just remembering to reach out to people. Again, sometimes it's just hard for me to even get a conversation started, just being the person that I am. So,
Mm-hmm. Do you see the potential with it helping a lot of people, health-wise and or financially?
I do. I see the potential, especially health-wise. Financially, I think it depends on the person, obviously, if they're willing to put in the effort and the work to build it up. But yeah, I do see it being a help to people.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think that you can choose to operate from that belief of, we see this, or I see this as a massive benefit to people and that everybody needs it. And so, I think people will get excited about what you're excited about. And if they see you as someone just solid and committed to the health journey and seeing you have health wins, that's going to preach more than having like, I don't even know, the ingredient lists memorized or whatever.
Right.
So I just remember like in the beginning when we started, we had massive belief that this could impact families for good in light of the health thing, because I mean, who's effective in their life, in their marriage, for God's kingdom or whatever, if we're just bogged down with problems and we're not able to leave the four walls of our home or even get off the couch, like how effective can we be, right? And so we just operated from the place of this can be a massive blessing to people's health. It can be a massive blessing for the ones that want the financial opportunity. And then consistently sharing. I think that's one of the things that really helped us get the ball rolling quickly and creating momentum was posting consistently. And I would say I was probably more consistent in posting than Justin, but he would still pop on and share. I still remember one of his posts was a pink drink set on an overpass when he was on the job. Like he would just like post while he was on the job and like just a little blitz one-liner. He would work and share Plexus on his lunch hour. And then when he got home from work after we put the kids to bed, then we would work off until like midnight and just chat with people online. Or if he had conversations with people during the day, a lot of times he would just like text Megan, she can help you get signed up type of thing. Or if people had questions and want to chat on the phone type of thing. So it does take consistency and sharing, getting the message out via posts or texts or whatever, live video. And then just lots of messages. And that's something that Justin has said. He's like, it takes a lot of conversations because like Cassie was saying, like there is some, I mean, even with guys chatting, maybe not as chatty as girls, but there is a bantering and it can take several conversations before someone's actually ready to be like, okay, where do I sign up? So
Right.
It's a process. So like just sticking with the process and not everybody has like that entrepreneurial mindset of like kind of thinking outside the box. And, you have your day job going, but then you have the side hustle of people that you're networking with or sharing with on the side, lunch hours, before work, after work, that kind of thing. So what have you done so far to get the message out? So you've done some Facebook posts?
I've done some Facebook posts. I've done some personal text messages. I've talked to some guys just at work about it,
Mm-hmm.
and that's about it.
Okay. Have you thought about doing an in-person event? Just like having people over to the house?
No, I have not.
That's something that jump started for us was like having some in-person things. And so we still host in-person things at our house. And sometimes it's just like super duper simple. It doesn't have to be like hugely elaborate, but just like, come over, we're going to talk about gut health. I'm going to share what products that are helping us. Would love if you could stop there. And it can even be kind of open house style. And even if you don't have all the products on hand, I think I have one stick of Slim left when we hosted an event back in 2015. People just came over. I think Justin was the designated babysitter. And we just shared stories and what was working for us. But that would be an idea. Another thing that I thought of, well, the videos I think can help as a follow-up tool for the conversations that you've already started. Like you could just blitz it over and be like, hey, dude, I thought of you with this call I just listened to. I was super inspired by it. And it's, got other men that are on the same health products that I'm on. And you could even list like, inflammation's down, no more running to the bathroom, maybe just even bullet point some of the testimonies that you heard. Or if you know for sure that someone is dealing with an issue that's talked about on the call, you're like, hey, Thomas just talked about XYZ. I think that you'd resonate with it. So, you know, kind of just using some tools like that to continue conversation. So okay, yeah, I think that the like getting in front of people is key. You know, getting something started strong off the ground. You know, my parents are both in politics, and so I've thought of them so many times, like how often they are just in front of people and connecting with people. And I've often thought, wow, if I was as consistent in networking as them, you'd probably be quadruple diamond by now. I don't know, but the idea is, you know, having conversations with people. And Justin said a lot of times, like, it takes a lot of conversations, you know, because people are ready at different times.
Right.
Do you have any questions popping up for me, or Justin's here, but I think he's on the phone. Otherwise I'd pull him in.
No, I'm not. I didn't come really prepared for this call, so I don't really have any questions at the moment. But
Awesome. Well, they might pop up later, or you might just have some ideas, like feel like, okay, that's confirmation. Like, I just need to keep doing what I'm doing, and the fruit will come. So, you know, and I'm confident that you guys will be able to refer 3 friends this month and cash in on the holiday cash. I mean, why not 6 or 9 friends, right? You may be surprised too. Is your wife at all interested or open to sharing with you, or popping some stuff on Facebook?
not really, honestly. She's kind of done some network marketing in the past, and she's just at this point, she's like, I don't really feel like dealing with trying to talk to people and reaching out, and she
Mhm.
feels like she's just having to pressure people all the time, and she doesn't really like that feeling. And so, um, but maybe eventually, but it's not
Mhm.
something that I'm gonna really push her towards right
Mhm.
now.
Well, I think it's really cool that you see the vision for it, and regardless of whether she's on board or not, that you're willing to pursue it. Because often it's the other way around. Like, the girls see the vision, and sometimes the men tend to be not just skeptics, but often like a bit of a damper. So I think it's really
Mhm.
cool that you see vision for it, and that you're willing to reach out and be bold, and tell people what's working for you. And you never know, she may realize that Plexus is different from other things that she's done in the past, and that it's really not about pressuring people, but just sharing what's working and what's helping a lot of people, and you know, seeing the bigger picture of like, this could really help a lot of people, you know. So, and it may take her a bit to come around to that, or no, maybe it's going to be your thing, and you're going to be on a, you know, Plexus Man Diamond, did it yourself, which is so cool. I'm just looking at the chat here. Awesome.
Brian, I also think that the one thing that's really cool is that if you keep pushing through, I will tell you, you're going to give her a vision of seeing how I feel like people that have done something different. The one thing nice about Plexus is that we are truly different in so many aspects. And so really diving in and maybe bringing her to Super Saturday or to an event or something to where she can see the company and see the heart of the company, that could help. The other thing is, like Megan said, I would definitely try to do something this month where it's just a improv don't think too hard on it. Just have some guys over, or have her have some friends over. And that could be really key into just getting the word out in a quicker way for you. So that, like you said, more in person was better for you anyway. You're not a posting kind of guy. My husband isn't either. So I get it. If he's like, if people think I'm posting, then they know I'm doing it because of you. So if posting is not your thing, then don't, you still do it, but definitely do something that is more in your alley. And so doing something once a month where you just have guys over, I think that'll be huge.
I'm really inspired by you, Brian, to pop on in a primarily women dominated business, and being willing to just hop on and get coached. I think that's really cool. And ironic that of all weeks that Justin is not on, that you popped on, because he's usually the only guy on the call. So keep coming back to our Tuesday coachings, and maybe you guys can chit chat and do a follow-up coaching at some point. That'd be cool. And you can tell us your wins and what you learned from going silver and how you did it. That'd be cool.
Okay. Yeah, I'll try to be on more calls if I can. The weeknights are not real easy because we're doing dinner and getting the kids to bed and stuff like that. I feel bad leaving my wife to handle the kids because she's had them all day. So usually the nights the kids are mine. So she's gracious enough to let me hop on tonight, but I will try to, when I can, jump on some more calls.
Well, tell her thank you from all of us for letting you be on, because we were all super duper inspired by you hopping on with us. So cool. Okay. Well, Cassie, do you have anything else that you want to share before we hop off?
I don't think so. Just you guys keep sharing, keep inspiring. God did not place this on your heart for no reason. So just keep plugging in and doing the things that might feel uncomfortable, because I will tell you, anything like this, when I first started, I cried. Like having to do a training or having to talk to other people or do a live, lives weren't the thing when I first started, but doing a video where I had to talk and give my feedback was not something I was comfortable doing. But the more that you do it, the more comfortable it gets. And so, no, we don't get to growing if we stay comfortable. And so keep doing the uncomfortable things. And Brian, again, and especially, I think Laura popped, or no, there she is. I'm so glad both of you guys are on. Honestly, all of you guys, just keep plugging away. It's going to be great. You're going to have skeptics. And guess what? You just have to keep knowing you have a much bigger vision than they do. No matter what you do, just keep plugging. All right. So glad you guys were on, and cannot wait to celebrate big wins with you this month.
Yes. And I'm going to give you guys some homework. All of us have Thanksgiving next week with family and friends, right? And so I'm going to encourage you guys to have some in-person conversations with those family members that you're with. So pray for opportunities. And when the time comes up to talk about Plexus, don't be afraid, because you have something honestly that can truly be life-changing for the people that you love the most. So thanks for being on, guys. Looking forward to a wonderful rest of the month, seeing you guys hit some fun goals. I cannot wait to see everybody that you help. And also the blessing of that is that you will also earn Christmas cash for your family, which is motivating to get out of our comfort zone and help more people. All right. Love y'all. See you soon.